You thought I forgot. Well, I did. That's the way it goes, and we just need to accept it. I forgot. What I forgot was that I was going to make, come here, a scratched PlayStation 2 video showing what happens if you have scratched PlayStation 2 discs that have a circle scratch. This is not a PlayStation 2 disc. This is a PlayStation 1 disc. However, it also, if the camera wants to focus, has a circle scratch. This is NFL Game Day 2001 by 989 Sports. And it has a nice example of a circle scratch going all the way around. The camera doesn't even want to look at it. It's that hideous. And we're going to clean it. We're not going to do this. I'm going to clean one side of it thing because that, well, that's a lot of fun, but that's also not really helpful. So we're going to clean just the ring, and we're going to polish up in general, but we're going to get it looking good overall. Pop it in the system, see if it plays, and then we're going to see what else we have to do to it. I was going to use Novus, but I realized, again, I keep suggesting to people to get car scratch remover, car polish, all this other kind of stuff, and I need to start using that. So that's what we're going to do. Not that there's anything wrong with Novus Step 2. I love Novus Step 2. It's my little bread and butter. But sometimes you want Texas toast. That analogy didn't make a lot of sense. Anyway, this is Scratch X 2.0. McGuire's, this is the kind of stuff that you find a lot more in a lot of car stores, car detailing places, body repair places, auto parts stores, that sort of thing. This is a lot more accessible and a lot more available for people that live in Europe, I'm finding, more than Novus. There are places where you can get Novus. It's not as common. Photography stores for Denmark, go figure. This is your regular old Scratch X 2.0. This stuff you want to use just the same as you would Novus. We'll put it on and you'll see kind of how it works, what it does, what it doesn't do. We're going to still use cotton balls. And so we're going to use car scratch remover, because at the end of the day, this is just car scratch remover. Okay, you go into a car parts store and say, hey, I need scratch remover. They're going to hand you a bottle that looks kind of like this. Turtle Wax has one. Everybody has one. Whole bunch of different companies. New Finish, the scratch remover in the orange bottle. I don't know why I'm forgetting the name. That one, same thing. So, to get rid of this circle scratch all the way around, the first thing we're going to do is polish on that one in particular scratch. Then we're going to do the whole surface just to get it looking nice, to see if we can just bring it back to life. This isn't a mirror finish video yet. This is more of a proof of concept. Let's get it back up and going. Somebody shook this thing way more than they probably should have. Dummy. Put a little bit on the cotton ball. And I just like to apply a little tiny bit on there. This probably isn't enough. Yeah, I'm going to want more than that. When I say I want more than that, or when I say there's not enough compound, or this needs a little bit more, I need to add more, what does that mean? Well, that's going to be a personal preference more than anything, is you need to understand how much you're going to use on a single rotation. So just, if you're not sure, and if you're starting off and you haven't quite figured out the groove yet, add enough so that you can coat the entire disc. So see how that disc is almost completely coated. We'll get a little polish in on there. So see how that's entirely coated all the way around? That's what we want, okay? A nice thin film, you don't want it unbalanced anywhere. And then we're gonna start polishing in a circle. Now you'll notice I'm doing little tiny concentric circles. It's following the path of where that circle scratch is. And I'm not worried, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing great big ones, I'm just doing little ones where I know that that scratch is. Just over and over. Tight little circles. Now this is the same method that you're gonna use on an Xbox 360 laser burn disc, which I tell you, it's actually kind of difficult to find Xbox 360 laser burned discs. So that video is underway, but I'm still waiting for a few more discs to run a few more test runs of the method suggested, and we'll see how far we get. Interesting thing about PlayStation 1 And this is where this combination kind of comes in, and it's kind of weird. PlayStation 1 discs, and some CDs, most CDs actually, if you're using a cotton ball and if you're using car scratch remover, you hear that? Do it again. You hear that squeaking? So that squeaking means that it's literally just the cotton ball against the polycarbonate. So that, just like that. Okay? My camera cut out. That's weird. There's too much squeaking. So when you do hear that noise, you know that, okay, I'm out of compound. So I got to add a little bit more. Can you add it directly onto the disc? Sure. Sometimes if you've just shaken it up, car scratch remover can be a little watery. So we'll put a couple drops out here, and then I just kind of brush it out. Spread it out a little bit. Since this is a lot more watery than Novus is, and we won't get into the science, I'm gonna let this just hang out for a second and just dry up a little bit. How long? Until the white parts are kind of a little more hazy. You'll be able to see it better in person, but okay. So, good. We're gonna do a whole polish because I feel pretty good about that little scratch. It was a very light scratch. I can still see it a little bit, but it's not terrible. Feeling pretty good about this one. After we get this polish, this round of polish done, we're gonna pull the disc and we're gonna inspect it a little bit. Just to kind of see how we're looking overall. That. So singing of the angels themselves. That right there means, okay, that's just cotton against polycarbonate. It really only happens with card scratch remover or any heavily silica-based polish and the polycarbonate that's on PlayStation 1 discs. Weird, right? But when you hear that, you know that it's just cotton against polycarbonate. It's not going to do too much damage, but it is something where you should go, okay, time to add a little bit more polish. It's kind of a nice, neat little trick to be able to know when you've gotten through the majority of the polish and now you're just going in. See, look at this. This one's so messy. I mean, they all do that. Who am I kidding? One more round of polish. We're gonna spread this out. Get all nice and good. We're gonna spread it out. Let it sit for a second. And as we're doing that, we can clean up our monstrosity. Pardon me, monstrosity. Do you have the time? There we go. So we'll go in and we'll polish. And you notice we're doing big circles this time because I can't really see that small circle scratch anymore. So that tells me that we've gotten through that. And now we're just on the regular old polycarbonate. Interesting thing about car scratch remover when you are using it like this in this format is that you are going to get to a point where it dissolves and dissipates a lot faster. Okay, so don't freak out. Don't think it's weird or anything. If you're used to Novus and then you switch to car scratch remover, that's going to be the big surprise for you. So it's still going to leave a little bit on the disc, but let's see how we're looking. There's somebody's fingerprint right there. Awesome, way to go. There we go. So we pull our clean microfiber towel. We just give this a good wipe. Now this can add some more surface scratches, but not too many. Oh, we spoke too soon. Still has that circle scratch. Well, that's okay. See, there's the problem is that Novus has been spoiling me, and I have gotten lazy. But again, we only did it 3 times, and I think it's also good for you guys and gals to see that it's not necessarily this, I wiped it with Novus once and now the disc is perfect. It doesn't really work like that. So this time around, we're gonna polish and bring in the new polish. It's gonna get a little bit messy when we do this, but I wanna make sure it gets all the way out there. We're gonna add a little bit more pressure. And you'll see sometimes it goes off the disc a little bit. As long as the disc is flat up against a nice surface, so if it's up against, you know, your blue rubber mat, for instance, you don't have to worry about too much, but you want to make sure that the surface that it's sitting down on is clean. Otherwise, as you're polishing and shifting it around, it can run into an issue where you scratch the label, especially on PlayStation 1 discs. Those labels are particular. Okay. So you'll notice I always keep one hand, the right one, holding the disc down for the most part. And even if it's just a thumb or an index finger or something, I always keep at least one digit on there, just because I want to make sure that I'm holding pressure down on the disc so that the disc doesn't slide on the surface, doesn't scratch up the label or anything. And now that we're adding a little bit of elbow grease into it, we're going to start to shift around the disc a little bit more. So to prevent that, it's just a finger here, there. Lift one up, you do one side, switch to the other side. And PlayStation 1 discs and the black backed discs are kind of difficult, because as you're polishing them, if you have a light that's shining down directly on it, a lot of times you'll go, oh, this looks good. And then you pick it back up and you go, this does not look good. So these just take some time. Big thing is we just want to make sure we get rid of that circle scratch. For whatever reason, the person that sold me this big stack said that those circle scratches were irreparable, which, come on now, but it says they're irreparable, and then also says that that was the reason they wouldn't play. Now, you and I are savvy disc cleaners that know that's not the case. Most of these discs just need a little loving. Just need a little tender love and care, and they will come right back into business. How much time are we at? Oh, I don't know. I'll put it in the top corner. But the idea here is that we're going to bring this disc back to life and get rid of its circle scratch. I haven't turned the disc in a while, so what we're going to do, take the disc off camera, and I'm going to put it on here, and I'm going to wipe very delicately to make sure that I'm not spreading anything around, and then we're going to turn the disc. Okay. Still getting some resistance. That's all right. But that looks 10 times better already. So we're going to do one final little round. Maybe. There we go. One final little round of polish on here. All the way around. Light pressure this time, because we just want to buff out all those light little scratches that we have. All those happy little trees. Light polish, just use the weight, kind of just the weight of your hand and the weight of the cotton ball to just polish everything out. Like so. Okay. Since we still have polish on the surface, feel free to turn it. Oh, looking so nice. Looking so nice. So I'm going to add a tiny bit of water My little squirt bottle will work. Tiny little bit of water to the disc just to break up a little bit of the polish that's on there. Okay. With that water on there, go back in. You can hear that water is really preventing. There we go. That water is really preventing the squeaking too, because it's breaking up the surface tension of the disc. Okay. Blam. Well, maybe not. So we still have a bit of circle scratch on the side. We still have somebody's fingerprints, a whole bunch of somebody's fingerprints. Oh my gosh. Can't take me anywhere. This is a little finishing cloth. Sometimes this does well on black discs, and sometimes this just makes it significantly worse. This time it just made it mildly worse, but here we go. So you can still see that scratch a little tiny bit, but it's not really noticeable if you're just looking down at it. So we'll keep working on this for a little bit, but the important thing is, does it work? Okay, so that's the big thing, is we're going to pop it into a system, see if it works, and then if it works, great. And if it doesn't work, well, then we'll go back to polishing it. So hang on. This is how smart I am. I was like, man, I got to get back to it. They're waiting for me to set up the system. And then I remembered that it is a video. So no time has passed. Anyway, so we got our NFL Game Day 2001 in here with our little scratches. Still kind of looks pretty bad. Still somebody's fingerprints. Goodness. Still looks pretty rough. But just to see, did we bring it back to life? It was a loud PlayStation 2. So let's see. Hearing a bit of a clicking. That clicking tells me that it is having a misread. It's probably going to load it. Yep. So we'll hit browser. And this happens sometimes. It takes a second. I bet it's going to read. I bet it'll read after everything. Yep. Let's see what it does. Oh, am I going to get copyright striked for music? Hang on. Shh. Okay. I don't know how copyrights work anyway. So the clicking stopped. So that's a good sign. Yeah, so there you go. We'll let it load in. It's doing okay. I even have the OG controller all wired up for it, which is also filthy. Not mine, though. Loading. All right. I'm ready to play some... No, this is NFL Game Day 2000. I'm ready to play some NFL Game Day 2001. Oh, it might not read. You might not read. It's thinking about it. Turn on analog for some extra power. Nope. You hear it struggling. Well, hey! So, at any rate, this is still... I do not know how to play. Oh, look at that! That's how old this game is. So we'll run it. We'll run it again. We'll run the game for a second. We'll see if it plays. I'm not hearing much noise from the system. And this is that same PlayStation from that other video. The last one. I'm not hearing... Okay. Yeah, so you hear that? You hear that chugging? That means it's having trouble reading. The screen and everything on here is doing pretty good, but it's still just kind of chugging along a little bit, which just tells me that it's reading, but it could use a couple more cleans. Yeah. Yeah, so what we're seeing here, and this is actually good. So the music's going to play because the music is loaded a little bit differently, and the video is going to play because it's, you know, this kind of thing. But then if you watch, can I pick? Can I pick anything? I'm on computer mode. Well, that's fine. So if you watch, there's a little bit of a lag in the play. But the audio's on point. So we'll see what happens when it has to load a menu in a second here. Yeah, everything is just a little, just struggling a little bit. So we're going to polish it one more time, and we're going to polish it well. And I think that's going to clean up a lot of this nonsense. So, yeah, so it's still got a pretty decent amount of scratching on it. We'll polish it up real good lack. We'll polish it up, and we'll run it one more time, and we'll see how it goes. Cool. I'll spare you guys the polishing, unless people want to see it and demand that they want to see it. Otherwise, it's literally just going to be me sitting here polishing and watching Netflix for however long it takes. But I bet we can get that out. So, yeah, cool. Be right back. Hey, I'm back. I got the disc cleaned. It's still NFL Game Day 2001. Oh my gosh, the fingerprints. Okay. That was weird. Okay. Got it all nice and cleaned up. Here's the thing, though. Still tons of fingerprints because I need to... Oh my goodness. I need to clean my gloves. Got rid of the circle scratch for the most part. You can still see it a little bit up around here. It's just covered in polish, though. So let's try it out. This just makes me think I'm always hesitant to do jump cuts because I had a guy in the comments early on say that he didn't trust my videos because I had a jump cut. And he goes, I don't know what you did in the jump cut. Maybe you swapped discs. And I thought, my brother in Christ, I have videos that are like an hour long of me scrubbing discs. What possible reason would I have to lie to you about this process? Also, that seems like a terrible business plan. Hey, I'm going to show you how to clean games. Really? Nah, I'm a jump cut. Ooh, got a loading straight out. Didn't even have to do anything. This will go swimmingly. Nice and quiet system. So all we did during that mysterious jump cut, all we did was we polished it with Novus 2. Or no. We stuck with, despite my reservations, we stuck with Megwars. Polished it with Megwars over and over and over again. And added a little bit of water to it. And you'll see that specific detail in a lot more of the PlayStation 1 videos. I don't want to get in trouble. You'll see that in a lot more of the PlayStation 1 videos where I add a little bit of water when necessary, especially for Scratch X. And I polished it. And I polished it for about 25 minutes. So just using light pressure, just using cotton balls. I went through a stack of cotton balls. The cotton ball section of my kit is fairly empty. Went through a stack of cotton balls and just polished it real lightly using less and less pressure each time. So if y'all want to see that, this is going to be like a 2-hour video, but tons of videos on this channel here that you can see that show that same exact process. And it really is just a matter of just repetition, doing it over and over again, and just having patience. I've found that it's pretty difficult. What got me the bangles again? I found that it's pretty difficult actually to clean and film it. That's accurate. To clean and film it. Because normally, like, I'll put something on TV, or even this little TV. I'll just have this little TV hanging out here, and I'll just be sitting here polishing, and you just kind of zone out. You get into this nice laid back zone, and you're sitting there, and you polish, and you clean your disc, and you look at it. It needs a little bit more, and you have something on here, podcasts, Netflix, whatever. So this is a lot snappier. Lens assembly is still a little loud. You can still hear that chunking noise. But this lens also needs to get replaced. The whole drive assembly needs to get replaced. Yeah, there's that chunking again. Which is probably partially the console too. So let's see if it'll load. This is the first little glitch we had. There you go. Turn it up a little bit. Uh-huh. There you go. Yeah, way snappier, way faster. That still sounds wrong, but that's probably just how that sounds. Cool. Okay, so do you guys want to watch NFL Game Day 2001? So cool. So pop us back out. So there we go. It looks significantly better. Yeah, you can still see a little bit of where I really focused on there. And this is still scratched too. So hang on, and I'll do it in real time so people don't get all frustrated. Woo. In case anyone was curious what's directly in front of me most of the time, it's that wall. So let's look at this disc real quick. So still scratched. Still a good amount of scratches on here. Still some doofus's fingerprints. But it looks a lot better. There's one great big scratch that I saw that looked kind of troubling. There it is. That right there. So there's a pretty decent sized scratch right there. But for the most part, this is pretty clean. And literally, this was just cotton balls and car scratch remover and time. There's guaranteed there's a video either over there or down below that shows the same process. And again, this is another, I was in another video, I was talking about a stack of PlayStation 1 and audio CDs that I got, that the guy said he tried resurfacing them and they didn't work. I don't know how much effort one would put into NFL Game Day 2001. We put in a good amount. We put in, oh heck, probably about an hour 10. So that's a lot. But these kind of discs are the ones that end up going to, there's a lot of polish on the edge here. These are the discs that, a lot of these will end up going to the community centers or any place that needs them. So I got a couple of people that are local-ish that do bundles. So, whatever. I imagine this game is like $1 online, probably, maybe $2. But now it works, and we'll get a PlayStation 1 that works with it, and maybe some idiot will stop putting fingerprints all over the disc. Stop it. And we'll be able to package this all up together. So, like I said in every other video that I make all the time, it really depends on the effort that you want to put into it and the result that you get out. But just have patience, especially with polishing. Have patience, even when you're when you're first learning. Have patience. There's a big scratch right there that I just saw. I don't know if you can see it, but it goes like that. It's pretty big. Just have patience. Just work with it. And sports games are a perfect way to start. So sports games are, relatively cheap. Usually they're in pretty rough condition. And like we saw on the video on the TV that's right over there, you can see pretty easily when a game is or isn't going to play. It's all about, does the sound match up with the video and everything else like that. So, not to belabor this or anything, 95 cents a minute for a tip or hint for NFL Game Day 2001. I'd suggest passing. That'll be $1, please. Until next time, thanks for watching. As always, if you do have any questions, hit me down in the comments below. I am back to answering all questions all the time since YouTube is showing me all the comments and questions. I'll be doing more of these, and I'll be doing more just general cleaning. Just as I clean a game, I'll make a video of it so you guys can know what to expect. You can find me on all the social medias. I try to post all of the social medias all the time that I can. Pictures, updates, everything else like that. Reach out to me and just let me know if you have any questions. That's the thing I actually legitimately like doing, is just helping other people. As always, don't be afraid to practice or try out anything you see in any of these videos. That's what they're here for. Thanks for watching. I am not going to go play NFL Game Day 2001, but I am going to clean off these fingerprints that some yahoo left on there. All right, see you guys.